Africans do not like black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages. Learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Tanzania. Okay? Peace and blessings, y'all.
Well spoken. I don't sometimes I understand why some African Americans or Black Americans think that Africans hate them. It is never true. Why would I, as an African, hate you as a Black American or African American? Like, for what purpose? What is the rationale behind this? It is never true. And I am very grateful to the second lady who explained this to her and helped clean out all this negative mentality or being brainwashed. Why would you generalize an entire continent, which is made up of 54 countries, that all this continent, all the people of this continent hate African Americans? It is never true. Meanwhile, you know that African Americans are our brothers in the diaspora. So why would Africans hate African Americans, our own brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora? It is never true. Perhaps you might have had some experiences that did not go well with you. Maybe you have someone, an African, that you had an experience with that did not go well with you. But that does not mean that all Africans hate Black Americans or African Americans. It is never true. This lady shares her experience after visiting 4 countries out of the 54 African countries. And I think I must commend this lady for her ability to visit some of these African countries in order to find out about her culture and her root. Visiting 4 countries is very, very good in the sense that personally I live on the African continent, but I have not been able to get the opportunity to visit any other African country. So she being an African American, being able to visit 4 out of 54 African countries is profound, and I thank her for that. So she shares her experiences with us after visiting the country of Tanzania, where she said she was treated like royalty. She was treated like a long lost queen who had returned back to the land. That is what you will experience when you visit the motherland. She also shares her experience visiting the country of Ghana. Now, with that of Ghana, she says that a family opened up their home to her, received her, welcomed her, fed her for her to stay in that place just to feel welcome and loved. As Africans, and in particular Ghanaians, we pride ourselves in our hospitality There is what is known as the Ghanaian hospitality. If you come to Ghana, you will feel at home. This is one of the most peaceful nations that you can get in Africa, the peaceful nation you can get even in the whole wide world. And we are very hospitable to foreigners and even our friends from the diaspora who come to visit us here in the country. Ghana is a very peaceful country, very serene for tourists and people from the diaspora who want to visit the continent. So if you want to visit the continent of Africa, I recommend Ghana to you. She also says that visit Africa in order for you to be able to learn some languages in Africa, also for you to be able to learn some of the culture in Africa. And I believe this will help you to strengthen your knowledge about the African heritage and African culture. She also stated that there are more similarities between African Americans and Africans than there are differences between us. And it is very true. As an African, if I see African American, I see some form of resemblance and some form of my personal image in them. And truly, they are our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So it is true that there are more similarities between us as Africans and then African Americans than there are differences between us. She also encouraged us to break the narrative, this narrative of hate towards each other and connect with each other so that we can strengthen the connection between us and then we can live together and enjoy Mother Africa. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just locate the subscribe button down there. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you in my next video.